Hi, welcome to another Tea Time Tuesday with your host Sean Catfish Wilson and the star Cosmo, I love you, hello, who's not up on the chair yet, surprisingly. What are you doing, Cosmo? What are you doing, Cosmo? I love you. Alright, so I have got some Earl Grey tea. So it is fall time. The weather at night is starting to get a little chilly out now. And the topic of today's conversation, tea time, is blue cats. Yep. So I've got a 5/0 Gamakatsu octopus circle hook. This is an 8/0. I had to sharpen it, but it's a Gamakatsu octopus circle hook. The bent eyes are kind of offset a little bit. And when you're going for big blue cats, you want to use the 8/0 and a nice chunk of bait. 5/0 will catch them too. I've caught plenty of big fish off of a 5/0 hook. And then another thing you will want is a fishing pole. You will want to be set up with a decent you want yourself a decent heavy duty rod and reel. This is an ugly stick tiger rod, 7 foot. Medium action, and it goes 20 to 50 pound test. And what I have on this one spooled up is 30 pound fire line, and this is an EB65. So this is a size 65 reel from Akuma spinning reel. And 30 pound fire line, that way I can get a nice far cast. If you have a lot of cover and you can't find fire line, I would suggest a 30 pound monofilament like Strin, original Strin, or squirrels on the roof. Berkeley Trilene Big Game. I haven't tried it yet, but one I want to try is Andy's Monster Blue. And I would recommend getting at least 30 pound test. You can go bigger, but also remember sometimes on blue cat you need to get a long cast, and I can get a pretty decent cast for this, but with a big hunk of bait on, it's harder to get it out further. You'll also, depending on where you're fishing, I've been fishing the rivers, so the Big Blue River, it doesn't have, or right now because the tubes are shut down, it doesn't have very much current there, so you can get by with probably 1 ounce there, but I use 3 ounce. That way I know it's going to keep to the bottom because there still is current there. And then the 3 ounce will enable me to get a fairly long cast. I can get a pretty good cast with a 3 ounce sinker. But if you are fishing for blue cats at places where, from the bank fishing, shore fishing, and you need to go to places that you need to make a long cast, I would definitely suggest getting a 12-foot fishing rod that can handle heavier weights. Like this ugly stick, the biggest I would probably want to put on it is a 3 ounce. And ugly sticks don't really put lure weights or whatever. This says 2.1. I can't read it. It's kind of faded off. I don't think it's the lure weight because I normally put that after the line weight or underneath it, depending on the type of rod you get. But anywho, I would suggest definitely getting like a 10-foot rod, or preferably if you can find one, a 12-foot rod. They're also called surf rods, because there's places here in Kansas where when you fish from the bank, you need to get out there quite a ways. You need to get out there a lot further than what this will get you. I mean, 30-pound fire line, it will cast further than, let's say, if it's 30-pound monofilament. So you want to make sure if you're going for hog blues, big blues, 40, 50 pounders, that you want to have a decent rod. You can go to Walmart and get some, or Academy, they have catfish rods. You don't need to get like these ugly sticks. They are about, I think, $70 now. Oh, excuse me. So these are about $70. So, and this Akuma reel, when it was brand new, it was about $100, $101.01, I think is what I paid for it. And that's been a while ago. But you can always go to Walmart and get. They do have heavier action. I don't know if Walmart would have like a 12-foot rod. You might want to go to a place like Academy or Bass Pro, and you can get their name brand stuff if they have one that long. I'm pretty sure they've got some inexpensive 12-foot rods that will do just fine. And I do have one 12-foot ugly stick. That's been a really great rod. They ran, I think, around $50, $60 when I got them. I don't know how much they are now, probably about $70, $80. maybe a little bit more. You'd have to price check it, and if you do get a new ugly stick, I strongly suggest using a good monofilament. I mean, they're still tough rods, but they change the eyes. Mine have the Fuji eyes on them. Back when they put the Fujis on them. So you want a good braid, then you want to go from a braid to a leader. I normally use 40-pound monofilament, and if you're using braid, you definitely want to use a monofilament leader, at least 40-pound to bigger. I like 40-pound because I know if I get a snag that I'll most likely get my sinker back and just lose the hook. So that's why I go 40-pound. Yes, this is 30, but this fire line is really super tough. It breaks around 80 pounds of pressure for 30-pound lines, so that's pretty good. And I've had the fish get up in the rocks and sticks and other debris with the 30-pound fire line and still got them out just fine. So fire line is really super abrasive resistance, real similar to mono. And you don't need to get, you don't have to have a spinning reel. You can also find bait casters that they have. I just saw the green blooded thing. These Abus, I would if you get an Abu Garcia for catfishing, the 7000 is what I would recommend. And they do make surf rods, 12-foot rods for bait casting reels too. So if you prefer a bait caster over a spinning reel, go for it. So anyways, yeah, your main line, let's say I put 50-pound braid on here, because I like braid. Then I would go probably make a 1 to 2.5 foot leader, maybe a little bit longer. They always vary in size when I tie them. Sometimes they're short and sometimes they're long. But I wouldn't say don't go more than 3 foot if you can avoid it. But 1.5 to 2 foot's probably a really good length. I like to use a sinker slide. That way I can disconnect my sinkers from my line at the end of the fishing day, and that way when you're walking they don't go up against your rod. But that you don't necessarily need a sinker slide, but you do need a sinker, at least depending. The weight of the sinker depends on where you're fishing and what the current is and how far you need to lob it out there. Then you need a pretty good swivel, a heavy duty swivel that can handle up to at least 50 pounds, maybe more. Definitely more if you can get ones that go up to more. I've been using the Spro swivels. They're a little bit more expensive, but they're a better quality swivel. And they're smaller and they go up higher than the Eagle Claw brass ones that you can find. These guys are similar. So you can get these swivels, but I would get the bigger ones. But the Spros are a little bit bigger than this. They're made out of heavier duty, or they're more heavy duty than the Eagle Claws. I thought I might have had one laying around there. Oh, hey. Alright, so these are the ones I use. The sprue's just a little bit bigger than this one, and I couldn't find the one that I normally use, the bottom style, but it's probably about twice as big as the Spro one. And those Spros, that black one, they're really, really awesome. I like them, but you don't need them. You can get ones like that. Just get the ones that look bigger than that one there. And another thing with the hooks that I use, these Gamakatsus. These are meant to be snelled, so the line will go on the shank here, then it'll come out the top of the eye. And you can tell this one's a used hook. And then another thing you're going to want to get is some good bait, which cut chicken will work. I used cut crappie this weekend, so if you do use crappie, make sure that it is legal in your state or your Pacific fishing hole, because maybe you're fishing at a place that doesn't allow you to use live bait or game fish for bait, although your state may allow you to use game fish for bait, and crappie's considered game fish. Nom nom. Very good place to eat. Very awesome place to visit. Another local place. Alright. So, what I like to do is shad is good. So, shad is definitely a good bait for blue cat fish. And I like to cut them up in chunks. I like to use the head. So the important thing is See the gap of these hooks? Whenever you're putting your bait on, you want to make sure that it's hooked probably below where the barb would be, if possible. You want as much of this hook showing as possible. Otherwise, you'll miss a fish. I've done it before. I've made that mistake in the past. So you want to make sure that when you do put your bait on, and I prefer to use cut bait, but I guess cut chickens cut bait too. But when I say cut bait, I'm referring to like cut fish. I prefer cut bait, but chicken will work too. Especially if they're in there feeding off of the mussels or clams. The fish love the mussels, and since it's becoming fall time, they're going to be feeding on lots of different things. So it's best to have a variety, but this weekend we were using shad and cut crappie, and the cut crappie was working really good. That's what I caught the 45.8 pound blue cat on. So, armed with this knowledge, go catch yourself a nice sized blue cat. Peace and long life, my friends.